Hello, hello everyone. What's going on? It's Casey Zeman here. How are you? Just gonna flip this. There we go. Hello, hello everybody. Casey Zeman here. How are you? If you are just getting here, let me know. Janelle Wood is here. How are you? W Charles 622. Welcome you guys. Thank you for joining. Let me know who else is here. If you guys are just joining, please put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. First, put a 1 in the chat if I'm coming in clear for you. If you can hear everything that I'm saying, I'm vocalizing everything that's coming out. You can hear. Put a 1 in the chat so I know that you guys can hear everything I'm saying right now. I'm very excited. Thank you so much. Like a taxi, I appreciate it. After Chloe just joined, Miss Melissa just joined as well. Sounds good. Wonderful, you guys. Wonderful, wonderful. Welcome, you guys. Welcome. Thank you guys so much for showing up. I have some exciting stuff to share with you today. I'm very excited about it. Hi, Casey. Love your scopes. Michelle. Thank you, Michelle. And I'm sorry, everybody, that if you, I haven't been doing much for the last couple days on Periscope because I've been kind of hanging out with my goddaughter. So anyway, but today I have some exciting stuff to share with you, some cool tips and tricks for essentially selling any products and services using the power of webinars. Now, here's the thing. Many of you guys might not know who I am, and that's totally fine and valid, and I totally get that. So if this is your first time here, do me a quick favor. First time here, type in the chat, teach. If this is your first time here, type in the chat, teach, okay? And if you've been here before, type in the chat, learning, all right? Type in the chat, learning, if you've been here before. Teach, awesome, okay. Awesome, you guys, thank you so much. I appreciate it. All good, we have some new folks here today. Learning, teach, learning, good. So we have about 50-50 at this point. We have some people that are brand new, some people that have been here before. Great. So for those who are brand spanking new to coming to my Periscopes, let me very quickly tell you what this scope is about and who I am so that you guys know what's going on. How much can you make doing this? I'll share I'll answer some questions very soon here about that, okay? Let me tell you who I am so you know that I'm qualified or you feel comfortable with me telling you about what I'm going to share with you, because it's a business strategy and you need to know who I am in order for you to feel comfortable that I'm sharing with you a business strategy. So let me quickly first preface it like that, okay? My name is Casey Zeman. I'm the founder of a software that we sell online called Easy Webinar. It does both live and automated webinars. We have over 5,000 customers that use Easy Webinar, and I teach on the topics of how to do, perform, and make money from webinars to sell your products and services. I also talk about broadcasting techniques. I love live streaming because this is one of my favorite mediums for building an audience, so I talk about those things. And essentially I help you with every aspect of building an online business, okay? From, how to get a lead coming from something like Periscope into your business. All right, those are things that I talk about. So let me know very quickly, and I saw someone say, really? Yes, really, it's absolutely true. Throughout the years, I've built up a 6-figure business, going now into 7 figures in the last about 14, 15 months. And what I'm excited about is to share with you the one way that I was able to do that, the one strategy that's always worked for doing that. And it's essentially what I'm going to be sharing with you. So I'm going to share that, but I'd like to ask you a favor. If you feel like this content could be valuable to somebody else that you know, a friend, a follower, a fan, anyone, you can click on this little dude right here, and it should pop up my screen. First off, follow me. That's the first thing you may want to do. Second thing is share with your followers, okay? You can share with your followers on Periscope here, but you can also share straight to your Twitter followers, which would probably be better. That's kind, Casey. Of course, thank you so much, Matt. I really appreciate it. So I'm excited because I'm not only going to give you these 6 strategies, but I'm also going to be giving you away for you to be able to download these documents yourself. I have gifts to give away. It's like Christmas right now, okay, or Hanukkah or whatever holiday you might observe during that period of time. But it's Christmas right now. I mean, it's a giveaway. I'm giving stuff away, and I also have a cool contest that I'm also performing and doing. All right. Now, for those who are within my circle, those who know me and know what's happening here, is we have a contest going on. It's a heart contest. Now, it's kind of a slow burn of a heart contest. I'm kind of whispering it because I'm not telling many people about it, but the heart contest starts today to win Easy Webinar, okay? I entered, so excited. Yeah, after Chloe, exactly, Mello, thank you. So today is the start of the heart contest. What I'm doing, and you'll all be aware of this as we go, okay? But my goal is to provide value and then explain to you how you can win. But here's the best way to do it right now. I know you don't know what this contest is about. I know you don't know why you're going to be giving hearts, but trust me, I have something that I'm going to be giving away up to 5 people. All right. Yes, that's right. 6 steps, 6 figures, webinars, and a giveaway tap to support this scope. Yes, thank you so much, Anthony. He already kind of knows. I'm going to be giving away up to 5 licenses of Easy Webinar, which are valued at $477 a year each. The way to win is you tap on the screen. Okay. You also share with your followers. What do you sell? I sell Easy Webinar. It's a software that does both live and automated webinars. It's essentially a tool that you can use to sell your products. We have over 5,000 customers, and they are able every single day to use this product to sell their products and services, whether on an automated system or live, just like this. And they take people from Periscope and put them into their webinars. Now, I don't want to get ahead of myself. If this is your first time here, I want to just share with you 6 things that you can do in your webinars, okay, so that you can increase sales. So some of you know what a webinar is. If you don't know what a webinar is, put in the chat, not sure. If you don't know what a webinar is, put in the chat, not sure. But if you know what a webinar is, give me a thumbs up. If you know what a webinar is, put a thumbs up in this chat. But if you're not sure, say not sure, okay? And be sure to share this, by the way, with your folks. Not sure, we have some thumbs up, okay, cool. We have even a strong arm. That's awesome. I love that. I host 2 webinars a month. Awesome. Awesome, you guys. After Chloe's had some thumbs up. Yes, perfect. So we have a lot of people that know what webinars are. Great. Awesome. Now, for those who don't know, I'll quickly say this. A webinar is an event where you can stream live. You can share a presentation just like this. You can answer questions, engage, share things like PDFs and buy now buttons, and have people essentially purchase from a live stream and or something that has the look and feel of live, okay, such as an automated webinar, which I'm going to come on to in a little bit here. So that is essentially what a webinar is. If you have a product or service, no matter if are you trying to compete with Periscope? No, not at all. You have to understand something, that Periscope isn't a webinar. Periscope is where you send people to a webinar. I'm never going to sell straight from Periscope, probably. I mean, I potentially might do this to where do you offer training on your software? Yes, we do. I would never sell people directly from Periscope. What I would do, however, is I would have people on Periscope drive them to a webinar, right? And that's kind of what I teach. Because it's hard for me to do exactly all the things I want to do in a webinar on Periscope. That's the tough part of it. So that's why I definitely highly recommend doing both in two different ways. So first off, very first thing I want to ask you guys is this coming in clear? Is there some hesitation? I can see that sometimes my audio and video isn't matching up. Easy webinar to market and engage your followers. Tap hearts if this is value to you. Thank you, Anthony. I really appreciate it. No, it's fine. Okay, good. Because it's a little dark on my side, and I noticed that it's a little slow. So as long as it's clear for you guys, that's great. All right, so let me quickly talk about a webinar. What's interesting is like this stuff can also apply, by the way, to this, doing periscopes as well. Now, this strategy you can use in any type of live stream aspect, anything at all. So just bear with me while we go through this. And as I said, be sure to share this with your friends, your followers, and your fans by clicking on this little guy and sharing it off to Twitter and everywhere else, okay? So be sure to do that. You can click on this little guy or swipe right and share with your followers, or swipe, I think it's up for an Android, and share with those peeps. Okay, so let's dive in and kind of talk about this. Okay, and I'm just looking right now at my, right there at my screen, and my screen essentially is sharing some insights, okay? Okay, so the very first thing that we're talking about is essentially, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to pull up my, actually, I'm going to pull up my presentation instead, because it's a little bigger than this. Let me see here. Here we go. PDF, here we go, right here. Okay, so can you guys see this okay? You should be able to see this now. It's a bit bigger, but let me dive into the meat of it. Okay, let me dive in right here into the meat of it. Yeah, you see that? Okay, so I want to jump into right here. Okay, this is the 6 components to a successful sales webinar. Okay, number 1, you can write these down if you want. Number 1, okay, and let me see if I can even pull this closer. Sorry, I turned it off the screen for a quick sec. That should come back on. There we go. And let me turn this off. So you maybe see that screen a bit better now, right? Okay, here we go. So number 1 is building a buzz, okay? Number 2 is getting personal. Number 3 is share content and value. Number 4 is the close and pitch. Number 5 is the Q&A, okay? Number 6 is the final action items that you can perform. Now, I know I'm going a bit fast, but I'm going to explain each one of these. That's why I'm going quickly, okay? So let's dive in and first talk about creating that buzz, all right? Creating that buzz. Let me explain to you what this is. So whenever you're going to be doing a live stream or any live stream, any webinar, I normally start off with kind of saying to everybody who's coming into the room, welcome. I welcome the people that are coming in. I say, I tell folks, hey guys, welcome to this event. This is what we're going to be talking about. It's really awesome. Close your distractions down, because this is going to be extremely good stuff. I let them know that, we're still waiting for more people to come in the door. And I let them also know that, hey, maybe they want to share this with their followers on Facebook and things like that, right? So the buzz, you have to understand something. The buzz is almost like, you know how you'd go to like a musical? Like I kind of, is that the Easy Webinar platform? No, that's a PowerPoint presentation. That's a PowerPoint presentation. I could show you Easy Webinar platform at some point, but let me explain something. So, very quickly, just so you understand, I kind of look at the buzz as like, if you go to like a show, like let's say if you ever went to a musical or anything like Cirque du Soleil, and at the beginning of the show, before the performance even started, sometimes the performers were in the audience kind of connecting with the audience, right? For instance, the musical Cats, one of the very first musicals I ever went to, they had the cat creatures going through the audience, right? And it just got you excited about the show. And that's what your buzz is supposed to do. In the beginning of your show, in the beginning of anything you put out there, you want to build that excitement and energy. So you want to let them know, hey, this is what you're going to expect. I have these things that I'm going to be sharing with you. Make sure you share with your followers, because this is going to be awesome, right? So these are things you do. So getting to know the audience and to attract customers. Yeah, exactly. First, you want to know who those people are. If you notice what I did when I started off, I asked you 2 things. I said, who's been here before? Give me teach. And who's been here, who hasn't been here before? Give me teach. And who has? Give me learning. And that helps me to know, first off, who you guys are. It also lets you know that I care about who you are, so that you and I start building this relationship up, okay? And it just starts to increase that energy and excitement, right? Build excitement and energy, encourage them to share with their friends. Exactly. Thank you for putting that together for me. And what I also do is, you have to understand this word, anticipation, okay? The other one that I always use is expectation, okay? Let them know what they're going to be learning in the beginning of the event during the event, right? Getting to know your audience on set to be on point. Exactly. So, so here's something that I sometimes say at the beginning of my webinars when I'm selling. You know, this is what you're seeing right here is a presentation that I do for new sales. This is a presentation I do for new sales. So here's a good example of the anticipation. By the end of this webinar, you'll learn how you can use this 3-part system to start selling your products or services successfully to a hungry audience within 48 hours. Okay, I hope you can still hear me when I turn my head. But that is exactly one of those elements of anticipation. Let them know what they're going to expect, okay? Now, the time that I would suggest for the buzz, and be sure to keep on clicking those hearts if this is good content, if this is something that is of value to you guys. Let me just flip this back around or move this over. The time for the buzz should be about 5 to 10 minutes, okay? 5 to 10 minutes for the buzz, okay? What's up, Mascara? How's it going? All right, so let's keep moving. Now, number 2, the second strategy, number 2. Hey, number 2 is get personal, all right? You need to get personal with your peeps. Do you do Perry Notes? How can we access this content again? I'm going to give you a link, okay? Karina has over 1,000 hearts. Way to support Casey's tribe. Yes, Karina, yeah. Well, Karina, by the way, guys, is my assistant. So Karina's in here. That's nice of you. Thank you so much, Karina, for throwing them out. Strategy number 2 is get personal, okay, with your audience. You want to know who they are. And the more important thing is you want them to know who you are, all right? So this is what I talk about. I say you need to tell your story, right? Let me move this over to me here. So the way that you communicate and connect with an audience is by sharing your personal story, your personal growth, and why they are on the call and how you relate to them, all right? So for instance, you know, I want people to connect with them on a personal level, so I share my personal story. So I always talk about, you know, when I first started out, I started out online in 2011, and I could never make any money online. I created a YouTube course. Thank you so much, I appreciate it. I created a YouTube course, but couldn't make any money online. Until one day I decided to start using a webinar. I created a video that said, "Hey guys, register for this webinar," and on YouTube, and that started driving traffic into a webinar. And on that webinar is when I sold my first dollar ever. Okay, that's how I made money online. I was never able to make any money online any other way except selling on a webinar. And so that's what I normally tell people. But you know, you tell them the overall arc of your story. So oftentimes I let people know, hey, you know what, I was struggling. This is very true. You know, when I was trying to figure out how to create an online business, I had to, make money. Sees Valley, she has over 700 hearts. Gratitude, yay. Thank you so much, Anthony, for letting us know. When I first started out, I was transitioning from a real estate job. I was making like literally $250,000 one year. The next year I made $15,000. Almost lost this house twice. Okay, I'm in my house right now. We almost went into foreclosure. And so I had to figure out what I was going to do. In around 2009, 2010, I was like making this weird transition. I was looking at like trying to build leads online. I couldn't quite figure out what this stuff was, how to do this internet stuff, right? Anyway, I started following some people, namely Chris Farrell was one who kind of teaches, how to build an online business as a beginner, was very valuable. And I then went into this direction of becoming a YouTube consultant. I chose a niche, jumped in, and then I saw success for other people with YouTube. But I was still not seeing too much success with myself until, as I said, I jumped into webinars. And that's what I'm teaching. I'm teaching a strategy that you can do in your webinars that will help you to succeed. Yeah, Chris Farrell. He's if you guys look up Chris Farrell, he has Chris Farrell membership. It's a membership platform devoted to essentially teaching you the basics of online business, essentially. So if you do connect with him, just tell him Casey mentioned you. Veritas, what's up? How's it going? What? Yeah. Okay, so here's the deal. So the only way I made money was doing webinars. That was it. That's how I did it. And I remember I did my first webinar. I completely bombed it. Okay, and that's something you should, guys should know, that you can do really poorly at these things but still succeed. It's because you build up a know, like, and trust with your audience. Okay, and that's the power of webinars. That's why I personally use them and love them. So anyway. There is this point in the webinar where you share your story. You let them know who you are, right? Actually, it's not Casey at TribeMinded. It's just tribeminded.com if you want to come into the private Facebook group. But you can email me at Casey at easywebinar.com. Okay, Casey at easywebinar.com. All right. So the other thing I would say in terms of get personal is show social proof. Show them why you are the expert. So oftentimes in my presentations, I share not only my story, which is failed mortgage broker. Failed actor first, mortgage broker. You want your audience to know they can trust you, exactly. But then also I talk about what events I've spoken at, and various successes that I've had, because they need to know that you are an expert who knows what they're talking about, right? So I've done a creative live all about building your audience with live video. I'm the best-selling author of the book Build Your Audience with Live Video, and things like that. You need to talk about yourself. Unfortunately, a lot of us don't want to because we get worried that we're sharing too much of ourselves. It's kind of like, I don't like to brag, but it's not bragging. It's setting up a kind of an impetus so they know who you are, so they can trust you, right? Right. So let's keep going here. Okay, number 3 is the main content and value. Okay, yeah, build your audience, exactly. The main content and value. Now, this is essentially, the main content and value is where you want to give your best stuff, okay? This is the core part of the training. You're going to pull out all the stops and provide them with a ton of actionable content. This is also the opportunity to start connecting with your audience on a logical level, okay? What did you do when you connected with when you told them your story? That was the heart. That was connecting with them on a heart level, right? Now, when you do your content, you want to make sure you're talking about the logic, okay? Why, what the problem is, and what is the content that you're teaching solve, okay? That's how you connect with people on a logic level. That's what your content is supposed to do. Let's pull this back over here. All right. So this is what I say as it relates to webinars. I say webinars and online events have gotten huge in the last couple of years. They are a several billion-dollar industry, and everyone is using them, such as HubSpot, National Association of Realtors, and the University of Southern California. So then that's kind of my example of, solution to their problem, exactly. I offer stats and marketing data and research to support my case. And this is where you start identifying the problem, okay? You start identifying the problem, and of course, what? Hinting to the solution. So let's keep going here. Right? So the problem, how to convert traffic into community and community into sales as it relates to webinars. How to position yourself as an expert, how to sell higher ticket price items, how to teach and engage effectively using that's all what webinars allow you to do. Now you can back it up with more stats. Then share case studies. Case studies are very powerful. If you can show people that are having results, doesn't have to always be your results. It can be other people's results, right? And encourage them to follow along and maybe take action on some various things. Like in your content, sometimes, if I'm teaching, say, hey, I'm going to show you a strategy for getting more people into your YouTube account, or getting more clicks from your videos into your, from your YouTube videos into your website. Let me show you how. I can also tell people, hey, go to your YouTube channel so you can follow along while I do this, right? So it's an action item that you can give while the content and value is going on. Now, all this while you're hinting to the solution, and the solution, generally speaking, is your product, okay? Yeah, your solution is your product, all right? All right, so this leads me to the close and the pitch, okay? We're at strategy number 4, the close and the pitch. So the close and the pitch is have the solution, and highlight. Let's see some hearts, guys. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. Highlight the product's benefit of the benefit. Okay, let me explain to you what that is. Now, many people, when they talk about the solution, such as their product, they highlight benefits of their product instead of highlighting the benefit of the benefit. So meaning such as, Easy Webinar has a social share feature, but I could tell you, hey, the social share feature brings in 10 to 15% additional viral traffic, but that doesn't necessarily tell you the benefit of the benefit. The benefit of the benefit would be, hey, you can get an extra 10 to 15% viral traffic, which gets more people to your webinars, which essentially sells your product, which essentially sells more of your product, right? So you have to always get to the end goal, which is you know, either selling more of your product or, you know, making more money so you can have more free time, you know, those things, what really matters to folks. So also in the close and the pitch, this is where you're going to have your testimonials, all right? And these are different from case studies. Testimonials are hopefully from people that you've worked with. Now, if you don't have anyone that's actually gone through a program of yours, just reach out. Don't make them pay for it. Just offer your services up for free. Get someone who can give you a good testimonial or case study, and boom, go from there. And then next is call to action in the close and the pitch. All right, this is what you want to do, say a price breakdown of your product. So let's say, for instance, let's say I normally sell my mastermind for X, but for you guys on this call, I'm doing it for X or Y. You know, so you show them kind of a call to action price breakdown. And then you have a kind of almost like a final call to action from this point where you say something like, there are 2 things you can do right now. We just gave you enough information. Let me just pull this back over here. We just gave you enough information to go take action right now to do this stuff yourself, or you can come through and implement it at a much faster rate, which will in turn produce a greater result in a shorter period of time. So this is my final call to action when I have people, you know, that are maybe on the fence about purchasing. I always say, listen, the content that you're learning is more important than you purchasing. However, purchasing will speed up your learning curve, right? Is one really good testimonial enough? Yeah, oftentimes that can be enough. If you can get more, case studies, hero stories are really where it's at. So being able to highlight people that have gone through a struggle, like, you know, before going through my program, Mello was at this point. After she went through my program, she had 2,000 leads. She had, you know, yada, yada, yada. It's like you show kind of this hero arc, right, in your testimonial. So anytime you're talking to your customers, try to get that hero arc, okay, that hero story from them. Where were they before your product, and then where are they after? And it doesn't always have to be money. Remember that. It doesn't always have to be they made more money. Just find those little things. Okay, now here's one of the most important aspects is the Q&A section, okay? Q&A, this applies to any live stream, whether you're here, you know, you're anywhere. I always think a Q&A is super powerful. So Q&A, so the Q&A is highlight benefits and handle objections or concerns of the product. Yes, one good hero story, thanks, yeah. Handle concerns or objections in the product. That's essentially what the Q&A is about, right? Because, you know, first you're going to ask people what questions they may have, but at the same time, the questions that you may have are the same questions that somebody else may have, and that me answering those questions are beneficial for not just you, but the other people that are feeling the same way. So that's why a Q&A is very powerful. Now, what I also do at this point, after my Q&A, I start to do what I call my final action items, okay? I'm sorry I'm moving this around so much, but I start doing my final action items, and let me tell you what those are. So this is where I start saying, okay, well, I'm so glad. Thank you guys for the Q&A. Now I want to just thank the buyers who came in. So this is an important part of it. I always thank my buyers. Like if they came into the webinar, if they took action and purchased, I start thanking them. I also tell at this point, my final action items, I say thank you for those who purchased. John, Sandy, Lori, Jim, Rebecca, thank you guys for being in there. Now, for you, because you purchased, I want to show you the back end of the membership site that you just bought, or the software that you just bought, or the syllabus of what you're going to learn from the course. So let me just say, this is what you're going to do. Now that you bought, this is the steps you're going to go through, okay? And just be aware that someone's going to email you, or you take them through the process of what they're now getting now that they've purchased. Now, here's the cool part about that. You don't necessarily stop the webinar for everybody else who hasn't bought. What you're doing is you're showing also the people that haven't bought the back end of your system, right? You're also showing them what the steps are, and it makes them more comfortable. Does this make sense? So it always helps for those who did not buy as well. And then what I tend to do is I always have a countdown timer counting down the bonuses. So the bonuses are being offered over a period of time, and it's counting down up until the time of the bonuses. So, and I always have bonuses on my webinars. I have like 5 bonuses that I give away, and oftentimes one of those bonuses is a fast action bonus that they can only get when they take action on this webinar, okay? And that way I create scarcity, okay, in my sales process, because scarcity is unfortunately one of the ways that you get people to buy. You have to offer some incentive for them right now to come through. Otherwise they won't come through. They'll find other things to do, and but if you give them something, say, hey, listen, I have a coaching call that I'm going to do, a 10-minute, 20-minute, 30-minute intake call with you for those who take action today. Question, do the hearts on replay count to win the EW? Yes, I think that I have to decide if that's going to happen. I think that maybe. So click on them now, and yeah, I might have those included. So, okay, so guys, that's about it. Those are the 6 steps. So, so I hope that helps. Was that something that was valuable to you guys? Do you learn something from that? Does the amount of service determine how many bonuses, or always 5 bonuses? No. You can create as many bonuses as you want. It can be 2 bonuses, 1 bonus. Doesn't matter. You have to determine the value based on what your product is. Oftentimes you don't want to overwhelm people with too many bonuses, so you have to find that right medium. Okay. How many webinars would you suggest doing before you start a program? I would say just start doing these webinars. I mean, yeah, I would say maybe do 2. The answer to the question is yes, no, maybe I might love the certainty. I'm getting ready for a webinar now. So the question was on bonuses. There is no, what's your favorite platform? What do you guys mean? What's my favorite platform for what? For doing webinars? Easy Webinar. I'm the founder of it, and I use it every day along with our thousands of customers. So I believe very strongly in it. So here's the thing. How long does a good webinar take to plan? It can take 3 weeks sometimes. It's like crafting a story. And unfortunately, it can take some time. Yes, I did. I just need to learn the technical side. How do I share my screen, et cetera, et cetera. Right, I understand that. So, with Easy Webinar, you can share your screen. You can share you in front of the camera. You can also share your PowerPoint presentation or Keynote or PDF. And it takes practice. All these ways of being able to sell. I mean, listen. One of my first sales webinars, I made $2,000. Okay, and I was like, whoa. This stuff works. And, it took a little learning curve to get to that point, to understand how to do it. But, once you get to that point, it gets easier and easier and easier and easier and easier and easier. And then now, at some point, you'll realize once you start doing $12,000 or $15,000 or $20,000 webinars, wow, this got a lot easier. And how to do that and not worry so much about, well, I only have, 40 people on my webinar, or, something like that. Like I've done webinars with as little as 30 to 40 people and made $3,000 or $4,000. So it's not about the number of people you get. It's the value you give. It's how targeted they are, and what they're, why they're there, and how they want to, what they want to learn from you, and what you are really showing them in terms of value. So, okay, now I'm gonna have to get going soon, but I will say this. So for those that don't know, I just launched a new podcast. Okay, now let me come to this now. Do you suggest doing a test webinar to get familiar with your software? Yes, always. I always recommend testing. Test. We have a producer that can help you. Go into our private Facebook group, and you'll have people that will help you along with that process. So I just launched a new podcast called The Webinar Lab, and what you guys can do right now, first off, if you want to get this information that I just shared with you, you can do something very quickly. Go to easywebinar.com, and at the very top, you'll see where it says blog. On blog, you click on blog and come into Easy Webinar's blog. There's that, and the very first post on the blog is going to be giving you this document as well as 3 more documents. But it's also going to be telling you about a contest that I have going on, where I'm going to be giving Easy Webinar away for free, where you can perform 3 things to qualify to win. One thing is being in Periscope and sending hearts, and I'm going to be tallying up the hearts over the next 5 till Friday. Okay, that's one thing. The second thing is going into our podcast, the Webinar Lab, subscribing and leaving a review. Okay, that's the second thing. Yep, easywebinar.com. That's right, easywebinar.com, all spelled out, /blog is how you can get there. Or just go to easywebinar.com and you'll be able to access it. And then the third thing, okay, is, so one thing was, subscribe and leave a comment on the new podcast. The second thing was, now that you're in Periscope, you can send hearts. And the third thing is, there's a webinar that I'm going to do tomorrow night and again on Friday that you can register for while on that page. Okay? Yep, easywebinar.com/blog. Yeah. So go there now and go through those 3 processes, 3 things to be able to potentially win a copy of Easy Webinar. I'm giving away 5 of these at $477 a year. It's a huge value. It's a really big contest, and you definitely have an opportunity to win. So trust me, trust me, trust me. Okay? All you have to do is take action. All right, guys, I'm going to get going. I hope this was of value to you. Please watch the replay if this is something that you liked. Also, share with your friends and followers because part of this is also, I want to be able to see all the hearts that we're getting. So share with your friends and followers because that's one of the other ways that you can also win. It's really the people that are more active that I see that are being really active with this contest for the next 5 days. Those are the ones that will win, okay? I'm not just randomly picking folks. I will maybe randomly pick folks from maybe the top 10 people or 20 people who are engaging. And that's not very difficult for you guys to do, to get in that top 20, okay? So just be engaging, get in there, and I can't wait to do the webinar with you guys tomorrow and more Periscopes, and of course, to potentially give you an Easy Webinar license. All right, I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you so much for the time. Take care.